There's the beginning. There's your welcome.
Ethel Merman heavy metal.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
All right.
Hi there.
All right. Welcome, traders.
Hola.
We are live. We're going to try this live.
Yeah.
And see if that works out a little bit better for us. I mean, that's pretty much what we've done in the past anyway.
If it doesn't go well, we'll try it dead next time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do it. Why not? Okay, cool.
All right. So welcome to Everything's Late, Nobody Dies, episode number 31.
Wow. Lucky 31.
Lucky.
I'm just going to keep saying that every single week. I don't know why, but yeah.
All in all, been a great week in comics.
It's been pretty good. Yeah, I did a lot of catching up, not of my own choosing, but last week, the home for a little bit, had a mini sick vacation thing going on.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. But I'm over it. I'm not sure if it's over me. So if I cough, it's okay.
Right on.
Yeah. I'll look directly at you, and we'll get you some. Whatever. Get you some little wipies for your glasses. Everything's going to be fine, man. It's going to be good. But yeah. So it has been a good week for comics.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on, and some of them I don't know the details. But like I said, we'll talk soon.
Well, there's been some real comic funk going around.
Yeah.
The past 3 months or so.
Yeah, there has.
A lot of people down on the hobby, and a lot of people talking. A lot of people were talking about getting out.
Yeah.
Luckily, they didn't.
A lot of people were saying.
A couple of guys were in here yesterday and were chatting out in the parking lot after we left the shop, and they were even saying it themselves that this has been not. It's just been a great week. I mean, we got great books on the shelf, beautiful artwork. A lot of real positive things, which is definitely a plus.
Yeah, it's a lot better than I think the new year comic wise is shaping up to be pretty good. It kind of ended on a downer last year for sure. But I don't know. There's still the problems that exist. You know what I mean? There's still things that are not so hot.
Yeah.
But those things are going to happen.
Right.
And that's, with any industry, with anything, that's going to happen. I think one thing might be people are understanding, and as much as I hate to say it, getting used to the fact that things are messed up. And last week everything was late.
Right.
Nobody died as far as I know, but everything was late and it was kind of crappy and whatever. But it was, I think people are almost getting used to that now. There used to be some people that would come in that would be like, "Oh man, I come all the way down here for nothing, and they're not here." But this, like last week, even those people were just like, "Oh, yeah, it sucks. I'll have to get both of them next week."
Yeah.
It's like
one of the regulars in yesterday actually made kind of an off the cuff comment. It was I can't remember what it was, but it was something to the effect that it is such and such book here, and you said no, they didn't send those this week. It was the Disney Spider-Man books, right?
Which I did not get this week. I'll get them next week.
And a lot of shops didn't get them.
Yeah,
but he asked, and you said, yeah, they didn't come in. And it was like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to it at this point. Oh, yeah,
I know,
that makes sense.
Right? Yeah. It's, and I think it's, I guess the one of the overused phrases, or I guess it's overused phrase number 7 from the last 3 years, but it's the new normal.
Right.
And I think, I try and tell people that, you know what I mean? They're like, "Hey man, where are all the Epic collections this week?" I'm like, "We didn't get any." "Well, they're supposed to be out this week." Well, a lot of things were supposed to happen this week and a lot of things didn't, you know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, okay, well, all right." People are starting, I think, to get used to that, and I hope that doesn't make publishers and distributors go, "Oh, we can do anything we want, then they'll put up with it." And, I'm hoping it's not going to tip that way. But
well, I think I see the publishers, the mechanics behind everything getting better too.
Yeah.
Distribution seems to improved a little bit.
You should hang out every day for a week with me, and then we'll talk. Okay.
a lot of the people I know, especially in the online space, the dealers, Izzy's, and people like that sell online. I see a lot of them. Their flow. I don't know whether they're getting used to distribution issues and their flow is adjusting to that, or if it's getting better so that their flow is getting easier. But either way, it's working itself out on our end as a consumer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways it would be easier to do stuff online. And because you post what's coming out.
Right.
People get on, click, buy, ship, whatever. With this, it's, with a physical brick and mortar store, then it's a little tougher because you have people there first thing in the morning going, "Where's my stuff?" Which they should, because that's when it's supposed to come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have nothing against anybody that just pops in and is like, "Where the hell's my stuff?" But it's because you've been conditioned, you've been told for decades, this is when it comes out. You know what I mean? People come in and they expect it to be there. It's a little tougher now with all the variants and the different distribution and the shipping delays and the just like ridiculously horrid weather we've had in the last couple of weeks. That's messed with everything. But I mean, to their credit, the UPS guy, like, he really, really pulled out a couple of miracles for me in the last few weeks. I'm lucky I got anything even close to on time. And it's like, yeah, they've been doing everything they can. It's broken on so many levels, and I think I'm starting to also do the same thing. I'm starting to get used to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, well, maybe I'll have my DC stuff on Tuesday. Maybe I won't.
Well, and there's a lot to be said for the fact that this is not your first rodeo. Like, you've been doing this long enough that some of those retailers, especially the online guys that have really ramped up their business in the last 3 years, you had those headaches and those issues 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So you're well beyond that. So,
I mean, I've had entire shipments go missing.
Right.
And Diamond scrambling to overnight things to me, and I'm like, I have one box. It's supposed to have 11. and they get on, and they scramble and they do what they can. I mean, and I think some people in every facet of this and every step of this distribution chain, there's some people that really care, and there's some people that couldn't care less. And unfortunately, the people that couldn't care less come across louder, and it's like, when you get things every single week on time and you put them up, you don't really pay attention to that because that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And if you get stuff Wednesday at 3 p.m, well, boy, you're going to notice that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You will notice that. And that is, that's something that you do notice, if there is a huge mistake like that. So, what makes a louder voice? It's just like online, anything, and what makes a louder voice? Upset people that want to argue.
True.
Negativity Very is a true. Louder voice, So, I mean, and I'd still, count myself lucky that I am able to do this stuff.
Right.
I'm just a geek that comes in and says, "Ooh, comics," and then I pay myself and go home, and that's pretty awesome. Beats the crap out of working for Larry Miller, which I did before this.
All right,
but anyway, yeah, it's still a cool industry. It's still okay.
All right, and so for those of us or those of you that are watching us, we're live on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Mm-hmm. We'll be doing this every Thursday at this time. You can catch us on the rewind, of course. If you want to be part of the conversation, just go ahead and shoot your messages over. We've got a resource here that a lot of you don't have at the ready. Not everybody is lucky enough. We live in Salt Lake City, Utah. We have a very large, very healthy comic book culture mm-hmm. and community here. We've got 3 really big shops in Salt Lake. They're all friends. We all get along. We also have Hive Comics, myself, my pressing cleaning service, and a lot of online retailers. Captain, well, I was about to call
Captain
him Captain
Ron.
Midnight.
Captain Ron.
I would go Captain
Kurt
Ron,
Russell in here.
Captain Midnight. Captain Electric from Whatnot is with us in Utah as well, Ron. So we've got all these resources. If you have questions, we get to sit every week with Greg, who's done this for 20 years, owned his own local comic store, where all he does is comics. So shoot your questions and join the conversation.
And if I can't answer your question, I'll make something up that sounds decent. Sure, yeah, it's John Buscema did that, and that's 1975.
So, my mind was all over the place what we should direct the conversation towards today, and like things have been hitting me left and right. I'm really happy with comics this week.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of great books, a lot of fantastic artwork, and I'm really interested in this. Ron's in the chat too. Captain Electric.
Hi, Kurt Russell. Hi, Captain Ron.
Hi, Captain Ron.
Tell Golia, say, hey, what's up, girl?
So the book we're looking at here, this is Heavy Metal 273. This is the Retailer Summit Comic Pro edition. Speaking of the local community, this book was actually gifted to me because I'm a huge Kirby fan. And this is a piece of artwork.
It's a really cool cover.
Has a really cool cover. And very limited print run. There's like 200 of those made.
Wow.
Yeah. Something like that. Something crazy like that.
Jeez.
I'm sure you probably got a copy of it.
I don't, actually. I don't.
I think that was
closest I got is a Kirby vacuum.
Is that a hair?
I don't know.
That's weird.
I know. No, Daredevil doesn't have hair on his mask.
It's got.
No, I think that's
one of the things that kind of stuck out this week was.
I know you're not talking to me.
Well, it's your book. Like you're the one that bagged it.
Hey, Beck's the one that has that beautiful head of hair. It ain't me. It ain't me. No, oh my god. Well, your beautiful hair. We're talking about your beautiful hair. Quiet. Yeah, I think that's just
that's how it was drawn.
No,
okay.
I think
it looks like a hair to me.
It totally does.
I didn't come off great.
Yeah, no, it did not.
So one of the super cool things this week were these incredible throwback covers on the Marvel books, and paying homage back to kind of the heyday keys.
I need to say something about these homage covers, which is French for ripoff. I love these covers, man, and the reason I love them is not just because of the artwork. The art is really cool, and I think that's it's really awesome. Even though I am not a John Romita Jr. fan, we'll talk about the Spider-Man one in a second. It's really cool that he homaged his dad's cover.
Right.
That is really neat, cool. And I love that. But the thing I really love about this,
I think he did a great job on it too.
Yeah, he actually really did, man.
I'm a fan. I'm a Romita fan.
I'm not, but whatever. It's okay. I like his early work, but
and in most cases where we disagree, you're wrong. So
yeah, that is true. In most cases we disagree, you're wrong. That is correct. Good call. See, the thing I love about these is they've got the cool art, they got the cool throwback covers, but you know what they are? They're number one, they're the characters from the book.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And number two, they've got oh my god, they've got the title and they got the issue number on them, and they got the price on them.
Right.
Man, it's like, oh my god, I hated these freaking things when they like. Okay, speaking of the Disney thing, that is just going to drive me nuts. It's going to drive me through the wall.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I'm going to ram my head into the wall when I get those things in, because the Spider-Man one says Avengers,
right,
and then the next Spider-Man one says the Hulk. And then, they don't even have the title on, and they're homaging different cover. They're homaging an Avengers cover on Spider-Man and saying Avengers.
The whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Why they're putting out Spider-Man? Is it a key moment in Spider-Man, a key issue for Spider-Man.
I don't understand. I can't read. You got glasses. My glasses are over there, man.
Okay, so we got Ron in the chat, of course.
Yes.
From Facebook, and then over on YouTube, because we get to see the chats from all of our platforms.
Oh, okay.
So Ron is on Facebook, Captain Electric. Right below him is Captain Comics. And it says ahoy maids and mermaids. Ahoy, Captain.
Okay, maybe I can read, because I was like, somebody put like, mermaids. Mermaids.
If you're not subbed up to Captain, sub like his chat. He does some great stuff. It's a riot.
Which one of us is the mermaid? I'll take it.
Yeah. I don't mind.
I've had people comment on my tail before.
So yeah, the throwback covers are beautiful, and the Ramita cover is a lot of fun. I really like that one.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I love this one. God,
this one I think did a fantastic job on that one. Of course, an homage to Ghost Rider,
Marvel Spotlight,
or Marvel
5, I believe.
Yeah,
first Ghost Rider. And that's what I like. They're either first appearances or they're really key, issues like that. Spider-Man, not Spider-Man number 1. I'm glad they did that one, and because that's Spider-Man 50. That was a big issue,
right?
That was the first pin of King's.
Spidey no more.
Yeah, no more Spidey, and he never came back. He just dumped it in the trash and went, "I'm out of here. I'm gone."
50 years later, looking for Spider-Man.
Yep, there. Yeah. I found him. There's like 9 books up there. Whoa, did I find
him? And speaking of throwbacks, so to me, and we've had this conversation privately. Well, not really privately, because we do it in front of everybody else.
But, we go in the back. We go in the back. We close the door, and we're like, "Hey, what do you like?" Okay, cool. Let's go back out front now.
Yeah. It's an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
But my favorite Captain Marvel was Monica Rambeau. I think, in my opinion, and I don't know why, I was really into West Coast Avengers, and that could be why. That's the time period that I was really starting to get heavy into comics.
I love her. We do fully agree on this one. That's one thing we agree on. That and hairstyles. Then she is. I always liked her, man, and that's. She that first appearance in the Spider-Man annual was awesome.
Right.
That was just a cool story. And when she was in Avengers, that was one of my favorite time periods of the Avengers. It's that 80s stuff.
Right.
That
was a heyday.
Man, there was a lot of garbage in the 80s, but it was like Roger Stern and John Buscema that did that. And the Masters of Evil is one of my favorite. Avengers stories ever. Yeah, man. If you were to say pick your top 5 Avengers stories, that would probably be 3 of them. I mean, I love that story so much.
Yeah. Avengers West Coast, that first miniseries.
Yeah.
That got me. I was hooked. I was a Hawkeye fan.
Yeah, me too.
And I just threw a blank. My old brain just didn't with me. Because I want to say Black Canary, but it's not Black Canary.
Mockingbird.
Mockingbird was in
that
lineup.
I mock you.
Wonder Man was in that lineup.
Yeah. It's funny because you look at that lineup and at that point it was just like, oh, these are a bunch of losers.
Right.
But now look Scarlet Witch.
Oh yeah. Scarlet Witch,
Captain Marvel, Hawkeye, Vision, Doctor Strange, Moon Knight, like these were the characters in there, man.
Yeah.
Wonder Man, he's gonna be in a movie.
Yeah.
All these characters, man. You start looking at this now, and I think that's why everybody is looking for those. Why am I bleeding? No. Everybody is looking for those West Coast Avengers now, man. Because they had all those characters that were nobodies then, and now they're huge.
Right.
If you put out a series right now that had Doctor Strange, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Hawkeye, and Moon Knight in, and Werewolf by Night was in it every now and again.
Yeah.
And you throw those in there and people are going to be like, oh, there's pandering because now that probably would be, but those were nothing characters back then. And those books were so fun.
Well, and the evidence in that is, so that time period of the Avengers, like those were your big guys. I was Iron Man and Captain America and Spider-Man was showing up all the time, and the Hulk was in there. Like it was the Avengers,
right?
And so the West Coast Avengers were all the secondaries, like the Teen Titans,
they were kind of the Teen Titans of to the Justice League,
right?
Yeah, and that was, but there's again though, man, there's so much fun, and I mean, even like Scarlet Witch and Vision's kids. That's where they showed up, remember? And then the Dark Scarlet Witch. At that time.
I wasn't reading it that
time. The Dark Scarlet Witch, when she went nuts and used the chaos magic and attacked everybody. I mean, basically the Doctor Strange movie.
Right.
I mean, it's just all that stuff was on there. It was so good. And so I loved that. That time period there was some weird stuff and it was very experimental. Like the Web of Spider-Man stuff was always like, it was like, the third series, but it was the 9th tier Spider-Man book,
right. Right.
Nobody bought that. And I think that, I think that if I remember right, I think Marvel Tales was outselling Web of Spider-Man at that point. Those were friggin' reprints.
Right.
But I mean,
which completely unrelated. You've got a huge chunk of Marvel Tales.
Yeah,
in the back issues right now.
I know I do.
And that's one thing with the downturn in the market that we've recently seen. I've been encouraging people that are kind of turned off by the newer books to go back and pick up those old Marvel Tales because they're so cheap. I mean, they're $4 or $5 a piece. Yeah. And classic Spider-Man stories.
Well, and you know what? The other thing about that, though, is, when people bring their kids in. Like, oh, we saw Edge of Spider-Verse, and my kid saw, Spider-Man with the 3 Spider-Mans and Far From Home and Can't Go Home and why am I not home and I got to go home and I don't know, whatever they're all called.
Home Sweet Home,
Little Home on the web, and all that stuff, and people come in and they're like, oh my God, my kid really wants to check out Spider-Man. And they pick up that one issue of Amazing Spider-Man when they just murdered Peter Parker for 30 pages over and over and then resurrected him and murdered him and resurrected him and murdered him for literally the whole book. And I'm like, let's take a step back with your 7-year-old here, and Marvel Tales is always a great one.
Yeah.
Because it reprints those old ones. And even if there's even if there's Punisher or something like that in it, it's not Punisher shooting people in the face and, stomping on their severed arm. It's Punisher just like, I'm gonna get you, pew, pew, pew. And Spider-Man swings away and everything's fine. It's a good entry level, and you can pick up issue 30 or you can pick up issue 230. It doesn't matter because they're all fairly self-contained.
Right.
They used to be pretty self-contained,
as comics were back in the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s. But there's a handful of series that it started because one of my friends from TikTok had said that he can't find the passion for the new Spider-Man, and I just told him, you love the character now, and he's a younger gentleman. He's in his late 20s, and
because he's on TikTok.
Yeah, and
you're either 30 and younger, or you're 70 and older. If you're when you told him, did you do like a Spider-Man TikTok dance? You're like, down, bounce, Spider-Man good, get some old stuff. Okay, that's going viral.
So yeah, they'll take clips of this. But the series that I recommended were Marvel Tales, X-Men Classics for the same reason. Reprints of early X-Men stories. You can get all that good X-Men writing and artwork and everything, and
you get the Dark Phoenix saga for like $20. All
you're paying like $5 a book,
right?
At the most.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Marvel 2-in-1 with the thing. Now those were all self-contained stories, but
but they're still really fun. Those are starting to go up because they have some pretty key appearances and stories in now. But and also sounds really dirty. Not as bad as Triple Action, but anyway.
Triple Actions is another good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one with the old Avengers stuff, and then Marvel superheroes with the old Hulk stories.
Right.
Those old reprint books that were meant to get people into comics 40 years ago, 50 years ago, are great books to have on hand to get people into comics next week.
Right.
It's great. Ron says that Moon Knight will be a big thing someday. Mark my words. No, we are not going to talk about that TV series
Ron
again.
is in the know.
Not much. Comics by the Bay. What's up with you?
Comics by the Bay. I think that sounds like a shop I'd like to visit.
The first thing I think is that Journey song. Comics by the Bay. Oh, copyright strike. No, it was not a full line. it was okay.
It was a sample. Okay.
It was a sample. Yeah, that was it. I sampled it.
But
if I go, yeah, baby, at the end, I'm okay.
And so to kind of bring it all back around, so Monica Rambeau, my favorite Captain Marvel. Rambeau. So my favorite Captain Marvel, and to me, the definitive Captain Marvel.
And my favorite Captain Marvel. Here we are agreeing. Again, this is weird.
And so in the comments, let us know, who's your favorite Captain Marvel?
Did you say Shazam? We're going to just block you.
Billy Batts.
Billy Batts is my favorite Captain Marvel. He's the best Captain Marvel ever.
That's awesome. So yeah, let us know who your favorite Captain Marvel is. And so to me, what's happened this week that's got everybody so excited and going. And I'm going to throw this up there. Did we already have this up there?
Yeah, we had that up there.
Oh, we had that up there.
Yeah, we got it up again.
So we got all the throwback stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And even going into the 90s, this series, have you read any of these?
No, I have not. I've heard they're really good.
Very cool stuff. If you're a fan of Batman, the animated series.
The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Ron says, Shazam is my favorite Captain Marvel for real.
Okay. How do you block?
Well, the problem is we're on like 4 different formats. We'd have to block you on everything.
All right.
We'll let it slide.
No. There we go.
You have to do a droopy impersonation in that voice. He does.
I do.
He does often.
I do.
If you come into the shop on a Wednesday when everybody's here,
yeah. I'll open the door for you. I'll go, open up.
you get your comic books and a floor show.
Yeah, you do.
It's a deal.
Sometimes the floor show's a little. The after hours floor show's better. I got that poll.
Anywho, this series, Batman Adventure, set in, of course, the Batman animated universe.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple friends that are really into this and into that era of Batman. That's what got them in comics, and this series is a great throwback to that. So, to me, what has happened this week that's really got everybody energized is it's just going back and reminding us, why we like these characters.
Yeah.
And we have, how long have we been going here? We've been going almost 30 minutes. And unlike us, we haven't mentioned a single independent book.
Oh, wow.
And that never happens.
That's really strange. Yeah.
And there's a lot of great indie books out this week, and I don't want to get off on that tangent, but
just time with you flies by, Eric.
It's got us talking about
the time we spend together.
It's got us talking about the big two again, which is super cool.
Okay, watch this segue. Watch this.
Okay.
Speaking of the big two and time, yeah, time flies. This is I can't believe I'm even saying this. This is my pick of the week. The Avengers War Across Time. If honest to God, man, if you would have told me even like a week ago, if you would say, okay, I'd sort of retcon out of continuity Paul Levitt's Avengers book that costs $6 is going to be your pick of the week, I would block you like in real life. I would get a piece of cardboard and I would just sit there. No talk. That was so fun, man. The Photon book, again, going back to one of my favorite time periods of Avengers.
Right.
Okay. That and early to mid 70s, probably my favorite Avengers ever. This goes back to it's a continuation basically of Avengers number 11. but they're
Right.
not like retconning anything. They're
From
not messing.
Volume 1.
Volume 1, the
Volume
original
1.
Avengers 11, 1963.
So
yeah.
before Chris Evans was even a tinkling
A tinkling in my eye.
And the winkling. I don't know.
Yes, before Chris Evans, it was BC. It was 1963 BC before Chris, before all the Chris's. Yeah, man, it is just so cool, and it's not retconning anything. It's not changing anything, And I hate to whine about this, but two of my favorite guys. Oh, Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth. Yes. Yeah, it's like when DC goes back and does. I don't mean to go on a DC tangent, but when DC does like, oh yeah, and we're gonna go back to, this is what happened in Batman #1, and they're like, oh, but there's a message in the Pearl, and it's like, oh no, there wasn't a message in the Pearl. Stop it. No, right. There was not a message in the Pearl. This is just like, this is not. I don't think this is going to have any effect on current continuity unless, when we get a new Avengers writer, unless they're like, oh yeah, remember that time where Kang did a thing? It's not going to change the continuity, and it's not going to change the mythos. It has respect for what happened, and it's adding to what happened.
Okay.
And it's so cool to read stuff like that, because Paul Levitt's take him or leave him. I don't know, whatever, there's some stuff that I like, some stuff I don't really care about, again, he's not going to be on my top tier of writers, no offense to him. Perfectly competent writer, been cranking out stuff for years, did a lot of great Legion stuff, you know what I mean? But I mean, if I'm not going to stand in line to get a Paul Levitt's book is what I'm saying.
Right.
After this I might. This was really impressive. It really, it made me happy to read this. And like I've been, like I shared with you, being home for a week with COVID, I caught up on a lot of comic books, and I started going back and reading, some stuff 10 or 15 years old. And then I started reading some stuff that was 30 or 40 years old, and then stuff that was 50 or 60 years old, and man, I just started getting into all this cool old kind of throwback stuff for some reason, and this just hit the spot this week. It was just perfect.
Right. Well, I do think that a lot of what we've seen in the last couple of years, from the big two especially, has been a showcase primarily for artists,
mm-hmm.
a few writers, and that stuff has been really good. The one that comes to mind right off the top of my head is the Swamp Thing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Was by Rom V.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been phenomenal. Tinian's Batman stuff was amazing. But I think what happens when they showcase that stuff, it just gets real heavy.
Yeah.
And this kind of stuff is not.
No, it's fun. This is fun. And I, and Rom V. Beck, was it you yesterday that said Rom 5? I think you said Rom 5. And I thought you said John 5. Somebody said Rom 5 yesterday, man. And I thought they said John 5, and I was like, why is the dude from Marilyn Manson writing Swamp?
No, that's that robot.
No, it's Johnny 5.
That's Johnny 5. Okay.
John 5 was in Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie's band.
Yeah,
I don't band. But I was like, John 5 is writing a comic? Like, no, Rom 5, Rom V. Oh, okay, all right. I mean,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, but how are you going to know, right? Because you got Tinian the Third,
right?
Rom 5, who knows? But yeah, and I think that the danger, I think we're coming out of another 90s thing. Yeah. And when we had so many variants, didn't know what to do with them. You had flashy art, you had a lot of confusion, you had some great but flashy art and mediocre writing just so they could vomit it up books. You had your speculators, you had your wizard, which is now, eBay and whatnot, and whatever. I don't know, whatever. But you had all that stuff going on, and it did a course correction, and it should have done it a year ago, but maybe all this stuff was planned a year ago.
Right.
Then maybe they were like, oh crap, we got to do something. It's going to take a year to get this in production, but we got to do something here. And it really seems like, like the DC vampire stuff I hope that's the end of it. I really loved it, and because it was like that fun, just, it was kind of gory and dark, you know what I mean? But it was,
Deceased was like that as well.
Yeah. But it was still fun. They were just like, they were given a sandbox and said, you can build sandcastles, you can kick them down, you can dig a hole and hide it, you can do whatever you want. Just go and play for a little while, go do your thing. And that is what I like more of. And I think that the corporate giant control over everything, is a bit much. And I think it's stifled a lot of creativity.
Right. And I would think so. And I hope that things like the throwback covers and revisiting old storylines and things like that without the retcon.
Without the retcon.
I hope that sends the message that this is what the emerging new comic fan is looking for, not the flashy, low print run, high quality art.
Right.
That has to be a 9.8. I'm hoping, and I have had a lot of feedback in the last few days. People telling me,
well, I don't care what they said, I'm not leaving.
But a lot of people are telling me, they see a lot of the speculators dropping out, and they see the issues that some of the large sales platforms online are having, and hoping that means we're going to stabilize back into a hobby that's about good writing, good quality art, great stories.
Yeah, and and saying that, I don't want all these places to go out of business.
Right.
And I don't want publishers to close down. I don't want people to stop making comics. I don't want distribution centers to go away. Except maybe one. But, actually, no, I don't want any distribution center to go away, and I want them all to be available through each distributor.
Right.
That's what I want. But and I don't want all this. I don't want online sales platforms to go away. I don't want eBay to shut down, Whatnot to shut down, and Mercari to shut down, and I don't even know what else there is now. But I would like everything to streamline a little bit more. Because it's been like the Wild West for a couple of years.
Right.
And, we got to get that under control, streamline that a little bit, and, concentrate and go back to what makes this fun. Go back to what makes this good.
Right.
And, I'm telling you, anybody out there that is having a tough time enjoying comics, I'm not going to say get COVID, but take a couple of days off. Okay. Take a couple of days off, do your thing, go through some comics, organize some things. And, when you're putting stuff away, you're going to see things that is just going to make your heart swell. Like, oh my God, I remember when I got this. And, oh my God, that's such a cool thing. Go through and start putting some things away, man. Take some time, take a few days, read some comics. Just read comics. Don't worry about investing in them. Don't worry about like, oh, is this going to go up? I got to keep this perfect. Sit down and, in your Fraser's dad recliner in the basement, like I do, with my dog, with a drink, chill out, and just enjoy comics again.
Right.
Take a few days and just get yourself back into what that is and remind yourself why you love them. There's plenty of reminders why you don't, but you got to find those reminders of why you do.
Right.
That's important, I think.
Yeah. So I could not agree more. I think we're headed in that direction if this week's any indication.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of a side note, something that I noticed, the indies that were out this week was a lot of, follow up on on series that we've been waiting a while for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they kind of went back to the roots. You
Mhm.
know, it's a back to the basics approach,
Yeah, it is.
and I think that makes a big deal. And
Yeah.
yes, Ron, drip has actually been pretty awesome, and we're going to be making an announcement about drip coming up.
Oh, drip is a thing. I'm sorry. I was like, I test negative. I'm good. I'm fine.
So, so if you like this new format, let us know. We're going to try not to keep people going, and I'm going to try not to take too much of your time from the business, and because we could probably do 3-4 hours.
So you're telling me to shut up is what you're doing. Right? I get it. No, I get it. That's fine. Here, we'll just do this.
We will be consistently streaming again on Facebook. What is it? Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. There are some things going on with the Whatnot stream at the moment. So if you have not subscribed to Comics with Bueller, follow him. And we're going to wait till his next video drops to see what's going to go on there.
And yeah, follow us on social media too. We're on Instagram,
Any social media.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Black Cat Comics, Black Cat.
It's Black Cat Comics. Just look for the big kitty cat, the big scary cute face kitty cat. There. Yeah. But yeah, just the Salt Lake City one. We're on what are we on? God, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not going to do anymore.
And then
I'm missing something. Not sure what.
We're missing something.
What are we missing? Oh, telephone. You can call us. or you can write us a letter.
Send us a postcard.
Yeah, man. Go on my website. You can buy some things on there.
So one thing that I did want to mention, and we've kind of played around in this sandbox like a couple of cats. No.
Speaking of which, cat just said me.
So to me, and this is the other thing that I want to talk about. We could probably expand upon this next week, but to me, comic books are kind of a melting pot for pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
Because we often, you and I especially, we often discuss. We had a great conversation about heavy metal yesterday. We talk about movies, particularly horror movies, way too much. We're gonna have to start
no such thing.
Get you expanded into some rom-coms or something.
Oh no, man! You know what? Hey, look. Now we can talk about Heartburn, that Jack Nicholson Meryl Streep movie that still makes me cry.
I've never seen that,
dude. Oh my god, that's so good.
I am a big Julia Roberts fan.
I
am a huge Julia Roberts.
Well, we'll move on.
I love Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Huh? And so is Beck. I hear Beck is a giant Julia Roberts.
I like Emma Roberts. She's pretty cool.
Who's Emma Roberts?
It's her niece.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Scream Queens and American Horror Story and all kinds of crap. She's in tons of stuff. So, lots of horror. No, she's also in some rom-coms. So
the point is, if we take those detours, just know that we try to keep it grounded in comics for the most part. But there is a lot of other stuff that I think feeds into the hobby, and that we see a lot with movie poster homages on covers and rock album covers, and rock stars writing and drawing and appearing in comic books. So
it's best if we stay on horror movies though, because I don't want to get started on the Grease prequel, the Pink Ladies show. That's upsetting me already.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, so did I, until I saw an ad for it, and then I got upset. Grease is probably the perfect movie. No, man. You sit me down and you say 5 movies. You get to watch 5 movies. What am I going to watch?
Friday the 13th.
Nope.
Really?
I
would have expected Friday the 13th. I was going to say Evil Dead.
Okay, 6 movies.
Like one of the Evil Dead movies has got to be in there.
Okay, so all right, Gremlins.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Return of the Living Dead.
Okay.
Throw in Grease.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you mean? All right. Okay.
No, that's your thing. That's your thing. We're
Damn
not
straight.
judging.
I'm gonna go Evil Dead 2. Yeah, Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, Young Frankenstein's got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my 5, man. That's not all like horror.
I don't get the Grease thing.
Judge me.
I
you don't get the.
I mean, I like Grease, but somebody was.
Wait a minute. Thanks for watching our last.
What's up, Damien?
Hi there.
Damien, good friend of the show from up Portland way.
Psycho Devil Dog.
All right, so anyway, we can discuss this next week. Comic books is a melting pot of pop culture. If you're watching this on the rewind, we're going to do this live every Thursday afternoon.
That's what the kids say, right?
Yeah. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Find that like button. Report it to the Department of Justice for having top secret documents in its South Florida mansion. Let us know what you think of the show.
And ring the bell.
We'll see you later, traders.
Oh, yeah, Abbott and Costello and Frankenstein. Fantastic movie. Love that movie.